This story wasn't really a story, it was a Supreme Court decision that I thought was amazing. But then Elon and Trump got into it. Then LA caught on fire, and a bunch of things have happened since then where we haven't really been talking about it. And I feel like, nope, I haven't really heard a bunch of people talking about this. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 unanimously, including Ketanji Brown Jackson, the identity hire from the Biden administration. Every single one of them ruled 9-0 in support of the fact that you can't discriminate against Catholics because they're Catholic or weren't being Catholic enough. The whole kind of thing is up in the air as to, I guess, why specifically the Wisconsin Supreme Court decided to do this. But this overturns a Wisconsin Supreme Court ruling that was 5-4. Here's what I'm basically saying. Okay, the Wisconsin Supreme Court said, hey, the Catholic charities might actually get their tax exemption stripped. The Supreme Court 9-0 said absolutely not. Should there be any sort of punishment or anything if your court gets overturned 9-0? It's an indicator of something, but I feel like I heard somebody on the radio say, all right, if your ruling gets overturned 9-0, your court needs to be disbanded because it isn't trustworthy in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I'm all for it. And I think that's something the framers should have included in the Constitution. I mean, we look at
Yeah.
this and we call out these activist judges, and we're constantly said, oh, that's just a buzzword, Brian. Why would you call them activist judges? You just disagree with the rulings. Well, clearly it's not just me. If Ketanji Brown Jackson's on my side disagreeing with an activist judge, clearly we're both on the right side of history. And I don't think people realize how huge a 9-0 ruling is. You maybe get a few of those every few years. This just gives you hope that religious freedom is back, that this ruling shows that even the liberals on the Supreme Court remember that the First Amendment was a real thing. And remember just a few months ago when the left was trying to say that, oh, the U.S. Constitution is outdated, it's racist, we need to get rid of it, we need to get rid of it. This is just something that just doesn't need to be in our country more. Let's make it more modern and woke and fits our times better. It clearly appears that the 9 justices of the Supreme Court are on our side, that the Constitution is doing just fine, and protecting our religious liberty is the cornerstone of this nation and should still be protected today from activist judges.
100%. And I feel like I kind of buried the lead because I think the story is how wrong Wisconsin Supreme Court was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you can't discriminate against Catholic charities. You can't discriminate against any religious charities. This is Sonia Sotomayor, the justice, not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination. She said it's fundamental to our constitutional order that the government maintain neutrality between religions. There may be hard calls to make in policing this rule, but this is not one of them. In other words, holy cow, what is going on in Wisconsin? That was the race, by the way, that Elon put a bunch of money into and unfortunately lost. Yeah, how wrong can you be if the Supreme Court is ruling 9-0 in something that some people would seem contentious?